Hello, I'm Aifel of Lorlin, and let's continue to use Maestro and find out the features it offers. So we have this song and we have the melody sort of in two tracks here, so I've put a flute on each track. But actually what we can do is we can delete one of those flutes and then we can say I want to put the same flute on this track also. So I have two MIDI tracks on one Lotto track or one ABC part. So let's hear that. It sounds fine. There's some things about volume you have to notice here. So if we put the volume at full for this one and we put it at low for this one, you'll hear that that sounds fine. But that's because pretty much all these notes they don't share space with each other. If we take and share this one also on the same part, you can choose as many as you want. There's some limitations to it. I'll talk about that in a coming video. Then you will notice that you cannot adjust the volume individually. So for notes that start at the same time, they will have to share the same volume. So they will be gathered into a chord in the basic flute 1, and that chord will have a single volume, and that volume is going to be the highest volume or the loudest volume. So it's going to take the volume of, for example, this note and maybe this note, and then see which is the loudest, and then that's gonna be the loudness of it. So it can come to sound really strange. Let's say, for example, we want to make a solo piece, and we go with a lute of ages, and we want to have some melody on the lute of ages, and let's say we want to have have this track also. And then we think, okay, that's fine. This track is sort of something that runs a bit in the background, so it should not be so high volume. And then the melody we put at high volume. And you will hear that it sounds really strange. And that's because the volume that we have set really low for this one is actually gonna be played at the maximum volume together with the melody when it coincides with notes of the melody. And so some of them is gonna be played at maximum and some of them really low or soft, and that's gonna sound strange. So, for example, I'm not gonna find the MIDI now, but if you had like, let's say a two-track MIDI, and you had a melody and you had some chords going with that melody, maybe a guitar or something, and you put both of them on the lute, then you will notice that if you make the volume between the two tracks you select very high, the difference very high, then it's gonna sound kind of odd. So there's a little trick if you want the melody to stand out, and that is to try and have them in separate octaves. And perceived volume of octaves mean that the higher the octave, the higher the more loud you're gonna perceive it. So put the melody in the top octave, perhaps, and then you can put um, the chords that the guitar is playing. You can put them in the lowest or the two lowest octaves, and then it will and put the volume sort of at the same, maybe a little bit more for the melody, but not a big difference. And then it's gonna most of the time start to sound really good. So that's it, I think. See you in the next video.